Hello, and welcome to Financially Fit. I'm Marianne Jacobson, and this is Episode 1, Financial Health Check. Just like your physical health, your financial health is important. Being financially fit means understanding how money works and having enough to cover expenses to face unexpected future life events. Financially Fit offers practical money tips and real-life stories that are important to hear no matter where you are in your financial journey, whether you're opening your first bank account, paying down debt, or planning for college. Our first guest for Financially Fit is my colleague, Yolanda Rodriguez, who's been on that journey herself. After hearing from Yolanda, you'll have the opportunity to do a financial health self-assessment, your first step to improving your financial health. Hi, Yolanda. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your role here at LaGuardia.
Hi, Marian, and thanks for having me. Of course, I'd be happy to explain. First, I am a case manager for the Adult Basic Skills programs at LaGuardia Community College. That means I assist students who are studying to prepare for the high school diploma. I walk them through the process of continuing their education and enrolling in college. And second, I coordinate the Literacy Zone Welcome Center, where I work with community partners to provide information about education, training, and help students achieve their goals. And how about you, Marian? What does a curriculum developer do?
So glad you asked, because not a lot of people know what a curriculum developer does. Basically, I create lessons and learning products for teachers and students. And right now, online content is in demand.
Thanks to you, Marian, for having me come back and tell stories or give advice, whatever you need me to do. Supporting student success is what I love most about this job, and I hope that we can continue this important work virtually.
So happy to have you. I just first want to remind everyone listening what an important time it is to be working on this issue.
The COVID-19 crisis is hitting Americans very hard with job loss and financial insecurity.
But even before COVID-19, Americans were experiencing a lot of financial insecurity. I read a survey that said that over half the country, 57% to be exact, lacked financial health. So I'd really like to know more about what that actually means. Can you help me understand what is financial health?
Sure, Marian. Financial health is when people are spending, saving, borrowing, and planning in a way that will enable them to be resilient and pursue opportunities over time.
That is a great quality to have. Are you resilient, Yolanda?
Well, Marian, resilience is in my DNA. I am one of 8 children of a single mother. After my parents divorced, my mother came here to New York by herself from Puerto Rico. My mother was a very strong and independent woman. She was my rock until she passed away 10 years ago.
How was she able to pass that quality on to you? You were only 11 when you came to New York, right?
Yes, she instilled us with certain values, like working hard to get what you want. She couldn't help us with math homework, but she had the knowledge to guide us through life. The idea was always that we could go to college.
Yolanda, thank you so much for sharing that. It shows that resilience is a quality that we can develop in ourselves and others, and a point where we can start building toward financial health. Like your physical health, financial health has a real impact on people's lives and on their ability to weather life's ups and downs.
Financial health is not just a dream, but a journey, and you have to take it step by step.
And where does that journey begin, Yolanda?
With a financial health check. This financial health check can give you a picture of your situation and the real challenges people are facing. Otherwise, how can we help students develop their plan and build on their career dream?
Well, how long is this survey?
I know people are busy, so it's only 8 questions that measure financial health in a holistic way, based on proven metrics.
And then what happens after the survey?
For each indicator or area of financial health where a student seems to face the biggest challenges, you can develop support services around the source of their financial needs to overcome those challenges. Then you can provide some additional information and give your students some solutions and financial tips that can start using right away, such as working with the advising team at LaGuardia. There are many things we can do to help students afford college. You need to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. So take the survey yourself.
Okay, I'm ready. And for those of you listening and watching, you can find the Financial Health Check survey by copying this link into your browser or from your class website or in an email from your instructor. Yolanda, I will see you back here in 10 minutes.
So what do you think? It wasn't that bad, right?
That was easier than making coffee. Well, the survey began by asking about spending, the first indicator of financial health. That is definitely a pain point for me. At least right now, though, I'm not spending as much as I used to before the COVID-19 hit. I'm not commuting to work, which was my biggest expense. Another was eating out, which obviously I'm not doing much of anymore. But I'm definitely not about to take that dream vacation to Peru, even if they were letting me fly there, especially with my student loans.
Are you paying your loans on time?
Well, it's been hard, but I'm reminded every day that I do my job that I made a good investment in education. I wouldn't have this job I enjoy so much without the degrees I have.
I agree. I also had to take out some loans for my college degree.
Really, that surprises me. After all, Yolanda, you were a top student in high school, third in your class, and an athlete to boot. Your guidance counselor was saying that you could get into any of the top SUNY schools and graduate debt-free.
That's right, Marian. But after visiting State University of Albany, I felt like I would get lost among 15,000 undergraduates. Because of my ESL background and coming from a city high school, I knew I would need support to succeed at Wells, a college with high academic standards. So I chose to go to that small women's college of 400 students. And I ended up getting all the tutoring and counseling I needed to do well and graduate.
You made the best choice for your situation at the time. Making the right spending choices for your life is the first step toward financial health.
Even though I had a UFT scholarship and Pell and TAP, which are educational grants from the state and federal government, I had to take out federal loans. Borrowing money doesn't mean you are financially unhealthy if you have a plan to save and pay back those loans. I came home right after graduation and found my first job. I started direct deposit, so my paychecks went straight into my bank account. My mother taught me to spend money only on what I needed and know the difference between needs and wants.
Interest can really drag you down, especially when it comes to credit cards.
Yes, you have to maintain a sustainable debt load.
Yeah, sustainable debt load, that came up on the survey. What does that mean exactly?
Borrowing is the second indicator of financial health. Borrowing responsibly or maintaining a sustainable debt load means you haven't borrowed more money than you can pay back on time. It means that creditors are willing to take you on as a risk by lending you money at a low rate interest rate. If you have a prime credit score, you are the cream of the crop in the eyes of the lenders.
Instead of paying ridiculous interest like I am on my Subaru loan.
I see. Maybe if you had saved enough money, you could have paid cash for that car or put in a bigger down payment.
You're absolutely right. There's an advantage to having more money freed up. And speaking of savings, savings is included in the survey as a step toward financial health, the second step.
Absolutely. Your savings should be enough to live on for a while in case of an emergency. But that's certainly not the case right now for most Americans with the COVID-19 pandemic.
I read that the majority of Americans do not even have $400 set aside for an emergency. For me, it took a while to get myself there because when I was in my 20s and 30s, that just didn't cross my mind while I was shopping, traveling, eating out, and having fun. But what about you, Yolanda?
I did save up some money. I can't tell you how long ago it was, but I became very sick and had to have an operation. I was in the hospital and out of work for 2 months. Luckily, I was able to use my savings, along with sick leave and annual leave I had saved on my job to survive that period.
Now, a lot of people have been facing a situation where they have been out of work for over 2 months. Who has enough vacation and sick time saved up to cover that? Some employers didn't even survive the pandemic, especially if they were small businesses that had to close.
And that's one of the reasons for the recent distribution of the stimulus check. For most people right now, that money is going to go for food and rent.
That's where planning comes in as the fourth and final indicator of financial health. There are many ways to plan for your financial future, but I noted that the survey asked about one in particular, insurance.
Insurance is a financial decision. It costs money, but so does not having insurance. Are you a risk taker?
Not when it comes to my health and my family's health, and not during a pandemic. Health insurance is a huge monthly expense, but it can be a matter of life and death. Maybe we need to talk about the costs and benefits of health insurance and help students make informed decisions.
Absolutely. To wrap things up, the survey covers 4 components of financial health: spend, save, borrow, and plan. These components reflect your daily financial behaviors. What you do today in terms of spending, saving, borrowing, and planning constitute your resilience. If you or someone you know at LaGuardia is experiencing financial stress, please reach out. LaGuardia Cares has resources to help you. You can email them to find out their office hours and services, or just pick up the phone and call 718-482-5129, and they will make an individual appointment for you.
Yolanda, thank you so much for that information. LaGuardia Cares does a fantastic job for our students. And thank you for joining me today and giving me some encouragement to do that financial health check. And for all of you out there continuing your financial health quest, I hope you'll check out the other 4 videos in our series, Financially Fit. Each of the 4 covers a different step toward financial health: spending, saving, borrowing, and planning. Each video features real-life stories and expert advice from my fantastic colleagues at LaGuardia, Yolanda Rodriguez, Antonio Olivero, and Cheryl Delacruz. You'll find links down here in the description. Thanks for joining us, and stay safe and healthy out there.